And we're live, and welcome to the first ever Cars and Popcorn Awards show. And of course, your host, Tom. And I'm doing this in lieu of a usual top 10 list because I feel like this would be a little more interesting, a little more fun than just me saying this is the best, this is the worst car movie of 2017. We're still going to do that. But in this case, you guys get a chance to be a little more interactive, and I get a chance to wear something stupid like a tie over a racing shirt. So, without further ado, what we have done this week is I've tweeted out various categories and nominees, and you guys, my actual fans, have voted, and you guys will decide who gets the Silver Viper Award for the fan choice. And then I have some clever names for the awards that I will be giving out to some of the various categories. And without further ado, we're going to get going with our first, we're going to get right into it with our first category, which is the most obnoxious automotive product placement. Now, the obnoxious product placement, this is, I'm going to call this one the Michael Bay Award. This is going to be given to the most obnoxious automotive product placement, quite simply. And to be obnoxious, you have to be confusing, you have to be a little bit silly, basically just like the things that FCA had been doing the past few years. And hopping right into the nominees, beginning with, of course, FCA with the Dodge Challenger SRT Demon from the Fast and Furious movie, Fate of the Furious. Now, what makes this obnoxious is you'll see in a lot of the scenes in Fate of the Furious. I noticed this last night when I actually watched this movie for the first time that they even have the optional the optional passenger seat. The passenger seat is an option on the SRT Demon, and they have it fitted just so you can see that cool little Demon logo. It's obnoxious. It helped the behind the scene photos actually leak at the Demon before the FCA even revealed it. So it was even obnoxious in the way that the movie revealed the vehicle before they intended it to. Our second nominee comes to us one of my favorite movies of the year, Logan Lucky. Now, this is another example of a motor company investing a lot of money into a film. And must have paid a fortune to Logan Lucky, and you see Ford all over the movie. The Mustang was highlighted several times. They made fun of the guy for having a V6. Fords were everywhere. It was pretty obnoxious. Even Ford racing drivers were there. Peugeot, Peugeot. I don't know how the French refer to this, but what makes this one especially obnoxious is Denis Villeneuve, which sounds French by the way, is one of the only people that actually cares about Peugeot. The French, I'm pretty sure, are the only ones that even care about this car brand. And somehow, this was the car brand that was the choice of of the Blade Runners in Blade Runner 2049. And our final nominee is the Lexus spaceship from Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Now, what makes the Valerian one especially obnoxious is the fact that you hold on this Lexus logo for a good few seconds. And first off, it's incredibly absurd to have a starship with a car brand. So it's really weird. It's got that stupid Lexus grill that I hate so very, very much. And I actually completely forgot about that until shout out to Shuggy Russell for sorry I butchered your name for a second there for pointing it out to me because I had completely forgot. And speaking of which, another shout out just a no. Was a shout out to Brian Hurst for pointing out the Audi Quattro moon crawler, whatever they call it, lunar, that showed up in Alien Covenant. And now, without further ado, I do not have a drum roll, but you people voted, and the winner of the Silver Viper for the most obnoxious automotive product placement of 2017 is the Lexus from Valerian. Yes, folks, you guys voted. You guys remembered. I didn't remember. You did. It's obnoxious for all the reasons I just said. And the winner for my winner for the Michael Bay Award for most obnoxious product placement, jumping right into it, is the Peugeot from Blade Runner 2049. Like I said, the French are the only ones that care about this automotive manufacturer. There's no way this one is the one that survives. It's absurd, and I wanted to give it to something different than you guys. They're both absurd, but I'm giving it to the Peugeot. Anything going on in the chat? Also, I wanted to say hello to everyone in the chat right now, since we are, in fact, live. TJ Dex in the chat here, Eric Assenmacher. Make sure you watch his show up next if you're watching live. If not, you have no idea what I'm talking about. And of course, my new moderator, Cal, the Kingslayer. How's it going, guys? And I just want to zip right on through this since we're moving through here. We're going to move into what I call the George Miller Award sequence involving a vehicle. This category suggested to me by Cal, the Kingslayer, and man of many nicknames. The best action sequence involving a vehicle just is any sort of action sequence, be it a plane, submarine, boat, starship, literally anything. This is a very open category, very fun category. So I had a lot of fun with this one. First nominee is from Star Wars The Last Jedi. I'm not going to dive too much into this one, so I'm not butchered by everybody in the comments for spoiling things, but there is a Rebel Cruiser kamikaze scene. That is our first nominee. Second nominee is the submarine scene from Fate of the Furious. This involves a submarine on ice, treads, with tank tracks. It's absurd, but it's a pretty damn good action sequence. I will give it that. Third nominee, the helicopter scene from Jumanji. If you haven't seen Jumanji, go see it. It's a whole hell of a lot of fun, and you get to see The Rock dangling off a helicopter. And who doesn't want to see that? My last nominee is the entire goddamn movie of Dunkirk. Most of Tom Hardy's plotline involves just him flying around a plane, and of course, the entire movie of Dunkirk is filmed in perspective of all these soldiers stuck on Dunkirk. So those are our four nominees, and you guys voted, and it was a surprising and dominant victory. The Silver Viper goes to Star Wars The Last Jedi. This, of course, so Cal, your suggestion both earned yourself a category and the fan win. So good for you for suggesting Star Wars The Last Jedi. You receive the Silver Viper for the fan choice. Now for the George Miller Award for Best Action Sequence Involving a Vehicle, the award goes to Dunkirk. I had to give this one to Dunkirk because of how well this film was shot. It was shot well, and most importantly to me, as a sound buff, it sounded amazing. The sound in Dunkirk, if it doesn't win for for the sound categories, it's a crime because it's so immersive, so enticing, and really the sound, the visuals, everything about these action sequences brings you into the moment. I loved it. And we can call it the Cal Award, but I've already named it the George Miller Award. Sorry, Cal. Eh, Kamil Kazi, DJ Dex. We're all making trying to make cool names around here, apparently. So coming up with some good ones. I like it. Maybe next year. Maybe next year. Moving quickly right along into what I call the Big Three awards. So we're gonna take this one a little more slowly because we're gonna relish this one. First up is the Bullet Award for the best car chase of 2017. Now, there were shockingly a lot of really good car chases this year, and a lot of really good nominees. First of which being, of course, you were waiting for me to talk about Baby Driver. So the opening scene from Baby Driver. I'm not going to talk about how confusing it is that he converted a WRX to rear-wheel drive, but this scene really made Baby Driver for me. It was probably the best scene of the entire movie, where he ends up being chased by several cop cars, running around doing cool tricks in a Subaru. Absolutely fantastic scene. Shot to a song I've never heard of, but I can't even name right now. But Edgar Wright somehow, of course, in pure Edgar Wright fashion, synced it up to the chase so wonderfully. Next nominee, you just saw it again, the submarine chase from Fate of the Furious. This was the climactic scene where I just talked about this. A submarine chases a bunch of cars on ice. There's a tank and a car with tank treads. This scene was insane. It was, but it was absolutely fantastic. And I've already said way too much about it. Third nominee is the opening scene with both a Mustang and a Chevy Chevelle SS from John Wick 2. Now, of course, John Wick 2 was basically one big ass action sequence, which is why I loved it so much. But the opening chase was really what sets it apart and got us going in style. I absolutely loved this chase. I love the cars, but it broke my heart to see what it did to that poor Mustang. And of course, it must have broken John Wick's heart as well. Our final nominee is from a movie that you guys probably have never even heard of, but that I watched and I actually enjoyed despite how awful it was. This was the climactic chase from the movie Overdrive. Overdrive, if you haven't, since you probably haven't seen it, is a movie where they're basically stealing cars for no apparent reason. Um, that's about all I can describe. But this is basically just a chase through some wonderfully twisty roads in the mountains of, I believe, California. I couldn't really spot it too well, but yeah, right through there. So this involved a 1933 Bugatti, old Porsche, a couple Maseratis, and it was just a wonderful sequence and wonderful scene from a terrible, terrible movie. Cal thinks he voted Baby Driver. Eric says Baby Driver has a lot of good chase scenes, and one or two, buddy. It's got some okay ones. So jumping right into it, the fan choice Silver Viper for the 2017 Best Car Chase goes to, no surprise, it goes to Baby Driver. Baby Driver, everything was everything as I described. Baby Driver was a huge phenomenon. It combined great music with a really great car chase. I can't take away from that. I can't take away from this car chase, and it deserved every bit of this fan vote. But I'm a contrarian, of course, and I am actually going to give the official Bullet Award. I snubbed it last round, but I'm giving it to the submarine chase from Fate of the Furious. Fate of the Furious was a stupid movie. It was batshit insane, but the submarine scene was the best part of that insanity and made me enjoy the insanity. It was well shot. It didn't look as terrible as some of the scenes surrounding it that looked very green screened and very apparent that only Tyrese had to freeze his ass off going there. So I'm giving the Bullet Award, which ironically was a very simple car chase, to one of the most extravagant. So the award goes to Fate of the Furious, as much as that hurts my heart. And no, we're not going to see a Fate of the Furious Cars and Popcorn anytime soon. Please stop asking. Checking the chat. Yes, Cal. I gave an award to the Fast and Furious movies. I can't deny how great that scene was. We're still not having an episode. Not happening. Oh, TJ Dex is in the minority with me. That Baby Driver, or that wasn't a fan of Baby Driver. So welcome to the club, TJ. We meet on Thursdays. There's cookies. So next one is one of the big categories that I had more than four nominees. Who could restrict this category to four? It's the Eleanor Award for the Car of the Year 2017. This differs from Motor Trend's Car of the Year and Road and Track's Car of the Year and Car and Driver's Car of the Year and Jalopnik's Car of the Year and literally every automotive magazine's Car of the Year, because this one involves movies. So, running through our nominees for Car of the Year 2017. First up, the Subaru WRX STI from Baby Driver. I could not, I had to include Baby Driver in this. I was shocked when I put this up and it didn't get all the votes. But the Subaru WRX, as weird as it is that he converted it to rear wheel drive, is our first nominee. Second nominee, as cool as the Mustang was in John Wick 2, I'm giving the nomination from John Wick to this 1970 Chevelle SS. This car was beautiful. I'm a sucker for the Chevelle SS, and I'm pretty sure that had the 454, had the big engine, beautiful engine noises. I love the Chevelle SS. Next up, the Shelby GT350R from the obnoxious product placement of Ford in Logan Lucky. As obnoxious as all that product placement was, who doesn't love a Shelby in that blue with those stripes, the noises that that flat plane crank V8 makes? Talking right now, or else I will start drooling, and I don't want to get drool on my tie. Is the 2024 Chrysler E8 concept from Logan. This differs from Logan Lucky very much, so don't get those two mixed up. The limousine was one of the key pieces of the movie. You spend the entire first part of the movie with Logan inside this vehicle. It's a pretty cool car. It's basically a stretch 300 with a cool looking body, but nevertheless looked cool, garnered a lot of attention. Next up, one of my personal favorites, the beautiful, beautiful Jaguar E-Type from Kingsman 2. There is not much I can say that hasn't already been said about Jaguar. It's one of the most beautiful cars ever made, and that scene was so fantastic because of that Jag. I shouldn't say the scene was fantastic because it was very short, but it had a Jag in it. Next up, a very rare and very valuable Ferrari 250 GTO from Overdrive. This was basically the cornerstone of the movie. It was what they were chasing after the entire time. One of the most beautiful cars ever made, beautiful sounding B12. Does look a bit like the E-Type, but Ferrari. It's incredibly beautiful, incredibly rare, incredibly expensive. Of course, they had to make a replica. It's probably a very cheap replica, but it sounded really good. So at least they fed some of the sounds of the 250 GTO. The Alfa Romeo Montreal from Atomic Blonde. Atomic Blonde, I haven't even seen the movie, but the simple fact that it included an Alfa Romeo was absolutely fantastic. It's a beautiful car, one of the most beautiful Alphas ever made, and one of the most beautiful cars of the 70s. My final nominee is, of course, the Batmobile. How I, as a Batman fan, leave off the Batmobile? Justice League may not have done that well with critics, may not have done that well with finances, but we can't deny how good the Batmobile is, which is apparently true as we transition into the Silver Viper Award, because with a pretty close victory actually over the car from Logan Lucky, which was pretty close with it, the Batmobile has won the Silver Viper. And with that Silver Viper win, I wanted to give a shout out to Ashley and Joe Davis. You guys voted for the Alpha Montreal. When I made this list, I put the Alpha Montreal on there because I thought it was a really cool car. And I thought, oh, nobody's going to vote for this thing. No one knows anything about this vehicle. And you guys voted for it. And that made me so happy to see the Alpha Montreal get the get some votes. So Ashley, Joe, you guys get the Classy Award. So we'll call that the Ron Burgundy Award. Stay classy, Davises. And of course, we have to give the Eleanor Award out for my choice. And my choice was pretty easy, actually. And it's by far the most valuable nominee. It's the Ferrari 250 GTO. It's worth a hell of a lot of money. It looks beautiful. And it was the centerpiece of a terrible movie, and it made it even better. The, the car was actually one of the main characters of the movie, and it's actually made a bad movie even better. Checking the chat here real quick before we move on. Cal making jokes again about my place of work. I'm sure they're funny to you. Anyway, moving on to our next category, our final category of the day is the best petrol head. We're going to call this the American Graffiti Award for the Petrol Head movie of 2017. I originally said Car Guy, but changed it to Petrol Head because it just sounds a lot cooler, actually. So this is the big one. There were actually a surprising amount of good car movies this year, and we're going to give the award. And we voted, and I did not expect the winner to be what it is. Our nominees for Petrolhead movie of 2017 are Baby Driver. I had to nominate this, or people would get angry at me. That's all. Next up is Netflix's Wheelman. So if you guys haven't seen Wheelman, it is a Netflix original movie. The best way I can describe it is it's Drive if Ryan Gosling was a worse actor and wouldn't shut the hell up and wouldn't get off his phone. Nevertheless, it's actually a pretty good movie. It's it's pretty short, so it's full of action. Check it out if you have 82 minutes to blow on a weird Netflix special. Overdrive. Overdrive is a terrible movie, but no one could argue with how good the car scenes were. Just looking at this poster, you have a Shelby Cobra 427. You have a Ferrari 250 GTO. You have a BMW M3. It was full of beautiful cars. I had no idea what was happening, as you can see by the writers of Too Fast, Too Furious. So it's very obvious why I couldn't figure out what was happening. But Overdrive gets a nomination just for being insane and full of some really great cars. Fate of the Furious. There were a lot of cool cars in here, and Fast and Furious is known to be the car movie thing. So I nominated it. It's not going to win. Spoiler. Logan Lucky, a movie where you rob a NASCAR track. Can you get more American than that? Soderbergh actually made an Ocean's movie with cars. So who can argue with this one? John Wick 2. It's it's tough to call this one a car guy movie or petrol head movie, but with all the great cars from the beginning, John Wick 2 gets the nomination. Cars 3. The Cars series, I have not seen Cars 2, but Cars 1 and 3 have always kind of appealed to the car guy, to the gearhead a little more than the general population. The Cars 3 gets a nomination just for being awesome. Give it a chance even if you don't like the Cars series, give it a chance. And without further ado, when I made this category, I thought for sure that Baby Driver was going to receive all the votes for the Silver Viper. I was wrong. I was very wrong. It this was shocking to me how how the vote turned out for this one. It Jumping right into it, you guys voted unanimously. Unanimously, every single vote that came in was for Logan Lucky. I thought for sure when I posted this poll that I was going to see a lot of votes for Baby Driver. I was going to see a lot of votes for Fast and Furious to try and make me acknowledge that fast movies exist. But you guys came in and you guys voted for Logan Lucky. I love Logan Lucky. I know a lot of people haven't seen it, and some people weren't huge fans of it, but it was a unanimous vote for Logan Lucky, a well-earned Silver Viper. And now, the final award, the American Graffiti Award, the Best Car Movie of 2017. And I'm going to give this one its second award of the night to Overdrive. Now, I've been talking, you're probably wondering, Tom, you've been talking this entire episode about how terrible Overdrive is. And it is. It's a terrible movie. But you know what? It's full of amazing cars. And I can name more cars from that movie than I can name people. That's why it's my petrol head movie of 2017. The cars than people, because this thing seems like it was written by a car guy. The Ferrari was the main focus of the movie. They never stopped talking about cars. When the dialogue did make sense, they were referring to cars. And half of the half of the movie was cars. And no, Eric, the it does not include popcorn, though it should. Thank you once again in the chat. So again, well earned Silver Viper. If you haven't seen Logan Lucky, go check it out. And that does it for the 2017 Cars and Popcorn Awards. This is our unofficial kickoff of season 2 of Cars and Popcorn. So we'll come back eventually, but we'll have a couple more specials maybe between now and then. It was real fun to do this instead of a list. So if you have any suggestions, please comment below or email at zreviews@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at RoadRaider3. Like, subscribe, do all that other YouTube jazz, as well as check out season 1 while you're waiting for season 2 to begin. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.